All right, good morning and welcome back to Prince Seat. Today still remains the 29th of September 2025, and just as we know that in life delays are often frustrating, we all want things to happen quite quickly, especially when it comes to something that has been promised to us. And for years, a lot of people have waited for the disbursement of a grant that was supposed to be released more than 10 years ago. And the wait has been so long, very painful, and at the same time, discouraging for a lot of people. But sometimes, what we call a delay is actually God's way of preparing us, teaching us, and also positioning us for something bigger than what we ever imagined. Now, we have on the platform this morning a comrade who shared a revelation on this matter, and his words actually carried weight and wisdom. He pointed out that the delay is not without a purpose, and that when the grant finally comes, people must understand how to handle it with wisdom so that it will bring through transformation instead of regret. I'm going to leave you to listen to him, and I'm going to do a bit of part of afterwards. Comrade, your time now.
Good morning, Grand Community. Good morning, everyone. I believe God has given us the privilege to be alive this morning. Well, I just got something in mind that I wanted to say this morning concerning the entire grant system and everything that is going on. Now, I want us to understand this and have it at the back of our mind that this grant whole issue began 10 years ago, and as at that time, we were privileged to hear about it, but we only were able to give our information for a token of, sometimes some of them will say 500,000, some will say it's 1.8 million, some will say it's 1 million. That was what we were hearing at that time. And we were even happy, if I have 1 million or 500,000, it's something. And we never knew that the grant is a very large amount of money that want to be disbursed to Nigerians. And as at that time, those that subscribed for grant were not up to 15 to 20% of the entire populace of Nigeria. And we had this privilege at that time. But, we need to understand why God decided to delay this grant till this time. You can imagine a grant that wants to be disbursed 10 years ago is now they are trying to disburse. There's a purpose and there's a reason for it. These complaints and nagging and making all sort of noise that we are making is not it. Just understand what God is doing. Do you know that if this grant was disbursed 10 years ago, many of you will not be here. Many of you will not even hear about it. Many of you will not be beneficiaries of this. You need to be thanking God that you are here. You are privileged to subscribe and waiting to be disbursed to. It's a great privilege. Don't just be there wagging your mouth and making all sort of noise. There's a purpose for everything. You see, if you don't understand how God operates, you will be lost, and you will just be talking anyhow. Even your own personal life, do you know how God has been orchestrating your life? You don't even know. God decided to delay this grant so that more people will come in. God decided to delay it for these 10 years so that a lot of people, you see, Nigerians, our leaders are filled with greed, wickedness. But God decided to allow this grant to linger. It brought about discord between the leaders so that they will be confused and the grant will continue to be delayed so that more Nigerians will come in. As at that time, there was nothing like Pioneer. Nobody was even thinking about anything. Nobody's even thinking of anything Pioneer. It just came up, and people began to subscribe because God wants to bless everyone. God wants everybody to be a partaker. And those that are, even as we speak, millions of Nigerians are not aware of this grant. Yes, many millions are not aware of this grant, and then many are aware, but they have been saying it's a scam, blah 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 blah. Now the truth is that I personally tried to introduce some people to this grant, but they said, "Not today, no be Nigeria. I better leave this thing, Joe." So you see, such kind of people, it's not your fault. You have tried to bring them in, but they have turned it down. So you move ahead. So for those of you that have subscribed and waiting to be disbursed to, please don't be annoyed. Just calm down. Just watch the salvation of the Lord. Watch what God has in store for you. There is a purpose for this money coming to you. And then that will also remind me to tell some of you that do not have a plan for your life. Sorry to say this. Some people will still die when the money comes to them. Yes. You say, why is this guy talking like? Yes. Some people will die because they will use this money to become so useless, in the sense that some will go about drinking, womanizing, and in fact just putting their hands in so many things that will not profit them. Some that have never had this large amount of money will become confused. Yes, they'll become confused, and before you know what, they are into trouble. And in fact, if you are not wise, you will end yourself into big trouble. So pray to God to give you direction on how to use this money judiciously, so that you don't go down into poverty or kill yourself for nothing. So I urge us to be patient. I urge us to desist from unnecessary complaints and wait patiently for disbursement to take place. Thank you, and God bless you all.
All right, thank you very much, comrade, for that grand submission. I think this is quite so insightful and revelational. First, let us consider the purpose of the delay. Actually, according to the comrade just now, if the money had actually been disbursed 10 years ago, many of the people who were supposed to receive this grant may not have been ready, and some would have actually possibly wasted it. Some might have misused it, and others may have even been, may not have even been alive to enjoy it today. So there is a timing for everything, and I think the man is actually talking in the right direction. And sometimes God allows a delay so that the blessing would meet you at the right season of life. And I think this grant is not just about money, it's also about opportunity for a lot of people. It's about lifting people, families, and even communities out of lack, and giving them a chance to start again, to begin a new journey in a different, new, broader perspective. The comrade make it clear so much that God wants a lot of people to be partakers of this particular grant, and that means that the delay is part of a divine plan. So instead of being angry unnecessarily about the years gone by, the months, the shadows, we should see things as God's way of actually ensuring that more lives are touched when the grant finally arrives. And a delay in man's eyes can be an act of mercy in God's plan. And don't forget, I think Ngozi Israel even hinted on something like this some time ago, that the elected would be a partaker of this divine favor, that you wouldn't know why God has to elect certain people. It's like predestination, when you don't know that you are to be a part of a bigger plan, but God has a way of bringing it to pass. All right, so I'm going to be with you shortly, and in a moment, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after this timeout. All right, thank you very much, and welcome back once again. Just starting off where we left off, I just want to chip a little bit of information right now, knowing the danger of mismanagement, just as the comrade actually vividly pointed out. There is a warning attached. Not everyone who receives this fund is going to use it wisely. You know why? Some people would see it as a free cash to spend recklessly, and they would throw some parties, buy luxury items, and try to impress others. And instead of thinking long term, that's why sometimes we take our time to invest on talking to you about planning and some think possibly it's just a waste of time. It's just the life reality. It's the reality of life. You want to impress somebody, you want to make yourself a victim of your own lack of wisdom. I beg your pardon for that, but when the money finishes, then you would return. You will understand that the same issue that bedeviled that individual for so long a time, the poverty that the individual comes from, this time around is going to be with a deeper frustration. Yeah. So this time with deeper frustration, because they will know that they wasted a golden opportunity, which they're supposed to have really harnessed very well. And this is why wisdom is necessary. Money in the hands of a fool becomes a curse, not a blessing. The comrade actually warned that some people would actually destroy themselves with this fund if they do not approach it with the right mindset. And poverty is not just about lack of money. It's also about lack of wisdom. It's about lack of planning and lack of discipline. So if you give money to someone who has no vision, they would actually really return to poverty faster than before they actually got there. So I want to drive in this message right now. What then is the message? The message is quite simple. Prepare yourself right now. While waiting for the disbursement, do not just sit idle and complain. Use this waiting period to plan. Use it to educate yourself and to ask God for wisdom. I think it's important. Think of what you will do when the money comes. Will you invest in a business? I've rolled out some very important business that you can launch into by the time the fund arrives. Go through this channel, you see a lot of them there. Will you support your family? Would you use it to acquire a skill? Would you use it to build something that's going to last? Without a clear plan, money would vanish like a smoke in the hands of the receiver. Preparation also means discipline. Some people cannot save. Even the little that they have now, they can't save. If you cannot manage 10,000, how would you manage 1 million? If you cannot handle small responsibilities, how would you handle greater ones that is coming? The delay may actually be a test of character, a test of lifestyle. God may be watching how you would handle this little opportunity you already have before He releases the bigger one to come. There is a blessing coming with responsibilities. This grant is more than just cash. The way I see it is a responsibility. Yeah. So, brothers, sisters, when you receive your fund, you are expected to use it in a way that's going to bless you. Not only yourself actually, but also others around you. Imagine if every beneficiary uses their portion to create jobs, to start up businesses, to improve their communities. The effect would be massive. Poverty would actually reduce. Young people, they will have the opportunities, and families would also live better. So, but if people misuse the fund or wasteful desires, then what do you expect? The entire purpose of the grant would be defeated to begin with. That admonition coming from the comrade, I think, is very timely at this time. Very timely. It reminds us that God's blessings are not to be played with. They come with responsibility. So just like the Bible made a parable of the 10 talents, some will multiply what is given to them, while others will bury it in the ground, and the choice is yours right now. It's yours. Then I think another point of note there is the danger of envy and societal pressure. When people suddenly come into money, friends, family, and even strangers will start making demands. So if you are not careful, you will spend your portion trying to satisfy everyone around you. You will also give out recklessly just to appear generous to people, and at the end of the day, you would be left with nothing. You become the victim after all, and this is why wisdom and self-control are so important. Help where you can, because when people know that you don't have again, they move on to somebody else who have. So spend with all precision, with understanding, give with wisdom. Yes, help where you can, but do not destroy your future to impress others. The story of this grant teaches us that delay is not denial. For 10 years, people have waited, and sometimes people have doubted. But now, the promise, I think, is closer than ever. There's a revelation in this message, and this should encourage us not only about the grant, but also about other areas of life. Whatever you're waiting for, whether it is financial breakthrough, healing, or success, know that delay does not mean God has forgotten you. It may simply mean He's aligning the timing for your good. And when the grant finally comes, it's going to be more than money, to be a testimony that God's promises never fail. But we must play our part by being wise, by being disciplined, and being prepared. Finally, the comrade revelation is so clear. The delay of this grant has a divine purpose. Of course, it ensures that more people can partake, and it teaches us patience. But when the money comes, the real test actually begins. Some will rise to greatness, while others will fall back into poverty. The difference will not be in the amount that is received, but in the wisdom that is applied in the process. So let us therefore prepare our minds and hearts. Let us see this grant not just as a gift, but as a responsibility coming for us. If we handle it with wisdom, it can change our lives and the lives of those around us. But if we handle it so carelessly, it will vanish like the wind. In the end, the comrade's words serve as both encouragement and warning. God has made you a partaker, but it is up to you to make sure that you do not become a victim in everything. Thank you very much, and this is Prince Sid. In case you're new, do kindly hit the bell so you don't miss out on vital updates. Know that when we release one, you definitely have one. Always for the masses, and so you should know. Thank you very much, and do have a nice day. God bless you.